The House Republicans' late-night vote negotiation on the big, beautiful bill may finally see results by dawn's early light. House Democrats respond by yelling, crying, and mooing. And a D.C. District Court judge attempts to circumvent the Supreme Court. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Last night, the House of Representatives spent the entire night on a procedural rule vote, which would prepare the big, beautiful bill for one final push before sending it to the president's desk, hopefully, at least according to the Trump administration, by the original July 4th deadline date. Now here's the deal. By about 10 p.m., it was clear there were some Republican holdouts due to not getting certain fiscal hawk things they wanted in the bill, everything from subsidies to certain things that they wanted cut, certain things that they wanted added for their various constituencies. Individuals like Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky, who was expected to be against the bill, along with a surprise, Victoria Spartz of Indiana's 5th and Keith Self of Texas' 3rd, who was just on the show yesterday. They were originally no votes for the bill, and I bet you would like right now for me to tell you how that turned out. Well, here's the thing. It is exactly 3 a.m. Eastern on the dot as I'm recording this. And despite staying up all night, we still don't know how Representative Victoria Spartz and Keith Self are going to vote. Now, the staff in Representative Victoria Spartz's office did share with me that there was likely to be a flip planned back to yes earlier on in the evening. We're unsure at this time of what specific promises or cajolings or perhaps threats were made to get certain members of the Republican side of the House to vote yes or no. That's something that'll have to come out over the next couple of hours and days. So as of the very last, at 3:03 a.m. and 53 seconds, according to the House of Representatives live feed, on agreeing to the resolution as amended, the rules procedural vote before the big beautiful bill heads to its general vote, the yeas are 207, all Republican. The nays are 212 from the Democrats, 5 from the Republicans, with 8 Republicans having not voted at this time. Now again, according to the social media buzz and public statements from House leadership at this beautiful now time of 3:04 a.m. and 29 seconds, Johnson says he has the votes, and it looks like they may bring this procedural vote closed at 3:30 a.m. But alas, this poor Hoosier is about ready for some sleep. I had to go sit back down to record this because, of course, this would change as I was uploading the episodes to YouTube and the podcasts. The House did, in fact, just before 3:30 a.m., vote on the procedural bill in full, 219 to 213. All of the Republicans, except for not Thomas Massie of Kentucky, but Brian Fitzpatrick, representative of Pennsylvania, voted yes. Massie flipped yes. Victoria Spartz flipped yes. All of the Republicans, except for Brian Fitzpatrick, voted in favor, moving this big, beautiful bill forward for debate. Here's what Speaker Johnson had to say walking away from it.
We have an hour scheduled for debate, and depends on how long the Democrat leader's magic minute goes. But I suspect it won't drag on long. We'll be voting, I think, by early morning, and right when everybody's waking up to have their coffee, they'll have watch your steps. They'll have a big happy surprise.
When asked if Trump would have the big, beautiful bill on his desk by July 4th, Speaker Mike Johnson of Louisiana said he's going to have it a day early. Now, believe it or not, during this entire process, the House and Senate Democrats were not acting like adults. And that's not just a scant-thrown insult. Here is a direct shot from the House live feed in which Democrats started yelling, screaming, and, I kid you not, mooing at the top of their lungs while individuals across the chamber tried to yell order, order, order throughout the rules procedure vote. Check it out. Now, if you didn't find that moving, perhaps you'll like this. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi took the floor yesterday to say that we needed to start throwing punches for children based on this bill. Check it out.
Dr. King nearly 60 years ago said, of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and the most inhuman because it often results in physical death. We come to this floor with the moral force of Dr. King's words in our heart. Let us not, with this bill, turn the American dream he talked about into a nightmare for America's seniors, the disabled, our children, our children, our children. Let us vote no on this shameful bill and throw a punch for the children.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Representative Sarah McBride of Delaware didn't get his fill the last time he made a video claiming that we were all going to die due to this bill, so he then took to the floor again to remind us all that this is, in fact, the end.
Do they even care? Every yes vote shows very clearly that they don't. This bill is trickle-down cruelty, and people will die because of it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland was embarrassed on CNN when he wasn't even able to answer whether or not certain items were in the bill at all.
No taxes on tips, which is part of this bill, for working people who work on a tipped wage. Do you support that?
You know, I haven't looked seriously at it because I haven't thought they were serious about it.
And a Democrat doctors caucus led by Oregon Representative Maxine Dexter held a very important press conference outside of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson's office yesterday. The only problem is that no one told the rest of the Capitol that it was important, and the caucus press conference was very quickly obscured by normal foot traffic of individuals with real things to worry about.
We are the Doctors Caucus, Democratic Doctors Caucus. We have cared for the sickest patients in our communities. As physicians, we didn't care if someone was a Democrat or a Republican. In fact, that is never an issue that you address. We just care for people.
And a Washington, D.C. District Court judge, Obama appointee Judge Randolph Moss, has attempted to evade the Supreme Court ruling banning national injunctions on the universal scale. Yesterday afternoon, he claimed that President Trump's crackdown on asylum claims for those crossing the southern border illegally exceeded Trump's legal authority and must be halted everywhere. He did this by granting a sweeping class protection, thereby classifying anyone at all who comes into this country and claims asylum as some sort of a fleeing victim of persecution is now a protected class, which makes little legal sense given that one of the core determinations the government has to make is whether or not an individual's asylum claim is legitimate. More importantly, though, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito predicted this in the ruling on Friday when universal injunctions were at least partially restricted around the country. In a separate opinion on June 27th, Justice Alito, with whom Justice Thomas joins, wrote, "I join the opinion of the court but write separately to note two related issues that are left unresolved and potentially threaten the practical significance of today's decision: the availability of third-party standing and class certification. The universal injunction will return from the grave under the guise of nationwide class relief, and today's discussion will be of little more than minor academic interest. Second, today's decision will have very little value if district courts can award relief to broadly defined classes without following Rule 23's procedural protections for class certification. In essence, you need a couple of very basic, immutable things in order to say there is a class of individuals who must be protected in some kind of a court decision. Usually these are easily identifiable, and they are not things that change perhaps on a moment's notice, or things that might be conditional. Migrants, as a broad category of individuals, do not fit the definition for a class, and so very likely this is going to be thrown out by an appellate court or by the Supreme Court in some type of emergency move. We'll have to see. Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kennett Cast. And join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we take a look at all of today's late breaking news, nonsense, and the other stuff that didn't let me go to bed on time. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this is the Daily Signal's Top News in 10. Take care.